So Christopher and I were chatting, and we were like, we should make a video. And I was like, cool. What do you want to make a video about? And I was like, you know what? Let's take a little stroll down memory lane, because we've done some stuff and things. And one of those things that's become a part of our life and our business is MassDrop. And we've done a lot of work with MassDrop. And it's been going on really since the beginning of, or the end of 2016. So it's been a while. We've done a lot.
2 years, man. That's a while.
Well, it is kind of a while. It's a while for me. What happens in 2 years, dude? So we have most of the versions of the different models that we've done with MassDrop. Chris has played with some of them. You'll be able to tell which ones, and done stuff to them. He can't help himself. He really can't. It's an affliction.
No comment. I played the fifth.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyway, so we have this very weird story with MassDrop, where we were introduced to them by friends of ours, Wasteland Oddities, and they said, hey, have you considered selling stuff on MassDrop? And we said, what's that? And then we went on MassDrop and we saw what they did. And then we got introduced to the guy that was their purchaser. Coincidentally, it is now Jonas, the project manager of the Blades community. And back then he wasn't. He was just a lowly purchaser. And we actually had some extras that didn't get picked up by dealers or didn't get sold directly of Master Blasters and
Scepters.
And then after that we had Scepters. Or did it go the other way?
It was the other way around.
It was the other way around? Scepters, then Master Blasters. Mm-hmm. For those of you who don't know, those are models that we've done in the past. And so we had some stuff that we could offer to MassDrop. And at that time, that was the most expensive knife that they ever had on their site. And so we didn't have super high expectations because that wasn't really their thing. But they tried it, and we were surprised that they actually did, in fact, sell some of those knives. More than we were expecting they were going to. And so we were just chit-chatting. And I was like, you know, I really want to have a production line. I want to have lower cost goods, because Christopher and I have been aware of what the knife market was leaning toward way back in 2015. And we knew that someday we were going to have lower cost stuff if we wanted to grow, period. Because there's just not all that many people in the world that want to buy a $500 pocket knife. It's just not a giant market. So in exploring what that was going to look like, we had already been talking with We Knife, and we already kind of had the basics of what would become the Falcon. It was from a design family of stuff we've done a couple of different designs out of, and then I said, you know, I want it to be small. We have a problem, Christopher and I, making small knives in our shop because we're giant.
It's real hard. Real hard.
And like, it doesn't actually cost us much less to make a smaller knife than it does to make a large knife. The cost difference isn't even palpable. And so we couldn't make a smaller knife cheaper. It had to still be $500. So that's a hard thing to always explain to people. And I'd always wanted to have smaller knives because, you know what? Not everybody's giants like Chris and I are. For reference, Christopher and I are very tall. I'm 6'5", he's 6'3". We're not small people. When you see videos, like the same comment happens all the time when people come to our shop and they go, wow, you guys are huge. You don't actually look that huge on camera. That's because all this stuff in our shop is actually raised up to our height. We purposely built it that way so we don't have to bend over. So we don't look like giants in our own shop because the shop stuff is all high. Back to the topic.
Cool story, Hansel.
Thanks. Crushing it.
So anyway.
So
there we were at MassDrop.
We weren't there. We were talking with Jonas on the phone.
So there we were talking with Jonas and MassDrop.
And I was like, you know, I really want to do this production line stuff, but I don't know how to launch that. I don't know how to make that part of our brand. It's kind of new and scary to me, especially using overseas manufacturing, because we've been very America, fuck yeah, for a long time. And so Jonas said, hey, that's really curious. I know that our custom products team wants to have our own sort of knife brand. And I went, really? Well, I happen to design knives. And then MassDrop X Ferrum Forge occurred. And since the Falcon was already real close to being a product that was ready to go, we worked on that and then launched the Falcon in April of 2017. It took us from some of our initial discussions about how the project was going to go, that was right at the tail end of 2016, all the way to April to get it ready to go for its first launch. And it was kind of fun. Like the video that you see of us, Christopher and I, on MassDrop, I think they put it in every drop. Like we got like a real film crew, and like they came and filmed us. That took an entire day to film that little tiny video. They had all kinds of crazy footage for it, and I had a great time. I don't know about you.
It was a very interesting experience.
I had flowing locks back then.
Oh, what a shame you cut them.
Yeah, I looked so great with those, didn't I? Mm-hmm. Hey, look, you know what? I was going through a period.
We all told you.
Doing the thing, okay? I never had really long hair. I wanted to try it, see what it was like. It was terrible. I hated it. So let's get into the knives. Let's do it. Come on down. Come on down.
Let's get into the knives.
So it all started with just basic Falcons. Obviously, Christopher's done some refinish work on this one. I think is this your personal one?
Yeah.
And then after the the Falcon was crazy successful. No one expected it to sell as many units as it did on its initial drop, and we were all blown away. Christopher, me, MassDrop itself. It was nuts. Like nobody knew that was going to happen, and it was really great and invigorating. And so I said, all right, well, let's keep going. And I said, Elliot, what else you got? And I said, okay, well, the Falcon is a stylized knife, right? It's got lots of curve, it's got lots of character, and it's supposed to be that way because it was designed to be something that was going to be sold online. So it needed to look interesting. So it's a little stylized. We didn't do the Falcon Wing until months afterward. I can't even remember when we did the Falcon Wing. But I was asked by MassDrop to do like some interesting, stuff that could be machined, and then we did the Falcon Wing, and it's actually really cool. I believe all the Falcons, Falcon Wing and the regular Falcons, are available on MassDrop currently. I know that there's definitely Falcons available.
I'll put links in the description.
Oh, and also on our website, I have an entire section called Ferrum Forge Designs, and it has pictures of all the stuff that I've designed for other people, and if you click on it, it should take you exactly to the page you can buy it from. So, in knowing that I did something that was stylized, I wanted to do like a very utilitarian knife that was what I consider close to full size, and that became the Crux. If I were to pick a knife that was like the most useful for whatever the hell you want to do with it, it would be the Crux. It was designed to be that multi-purpose, useful knife, right? Straight utilitarian, no frills, just knife. And then of course I was asked later, can you do some cool machining stuff for it? And I said, sure, design some cool stuff. And so the Crux came out in June of 2016. Crux are available on MassDrop now currently. They're in stock. This was a knife that just took most of the sort of drop point designs that I've done, kind of smooshed them together into one thing that still had a relatively small package compared to the stuff that I designed for our own stuff for Ferrum Forge products. And that is based off of some of the input that we were getting from MassDrop and from MassDrop discussions. So the next thing that I was asked to do, and this is one that probably has some of the most collaborative efforts between people at MassDrop and us, was the Gent. They said, hey, look, Elliot, we are pretty sure that there's a market for a smaller knife that has a thinner profile, that you can use in an office without freaking out somebody, that you can carry in some slacks or some khakis. And can we make it like have a deep carry clip so that it's not sticking out, so that it's pretty, you know, inconspicuous? And I went, okay, this is all good feedback. Keep telling me more. And so they were like, make it, you know, useful but non-aggressive looking. I said, useful and non-aggressive. I don't understand the last part of that. The non-aggressive part. Can you? I don't get it. And so when I designed this knife, I actually hated it. Really, I was like, this is the most boring drop point I've ever designed. And then we got the prototypes in, and I was like, hey, you know what? I do like it. It's kind of right in that little sweet spot. Christopher loved it.
I thought it was great. As soon as we got the first prototype in, I was like, ooh, I like this. That
came out in September of 2017, and now we have the Gent Selects with the carbon fiber and the rosewood. I can tell you there will be more Gents coming, and there will be different color options and some other things that are going to happen on the Gent model in the future. Things that I'm actually very excited to see. And the Gent, by the way, is the best-selling of all the designs.
I like this knife a lot.
It's gotten some nice praise. And then MassDrop said to me, hey Elliot, we noticed that we sell a bit of things that have kind of a cleaver type blade shape to them. And I said, yeah, I get that. I can see a trend in the market. But I think most of them are just useless looking knives. They just have these big squared off ends and they seem silly to me. I'll run with the idea, but I want to make it still have a tip that can do some delicate work. I still want it to be stabby, so you can plunge it into.
Stabby, that's a technical knife designer term.
Yep. We are missing a version here. We are missing the, oh man, I forgot it. The mothership version. We're missing that scale pattern. I don't know what I did with it. But when I showed Christopher the initial render of this, he did not like it at all.
Nope. I thought it was really goofy looking. It was, and at the time that he did the initial render, there was so much just goofy cleaver stuff. I'm like, this seems a little gimmicky. And Elliot was like, just
wait, man. Just
wait till we get the prototype.
Just like my initial reaction to the Gent was not positive, and just wait till we have it in hand and prototype, and we'll see what you think. So the prototype 4 came in, and Christopher had just moved into a new house, and so he took it and he was doing all kinds of work around the house with it. He came back, like, that was like a weekend. And he came back and he said, all right, this knife is awesome. No more haterade for you.
No, I was sold. Hey, you know, I can be sold. My opinions are not set in stone by any means.
It is definitely a very distinctive looking knife.
That's one way of putting it.
Distinctive. And one that I've come to enjoy. I've carried, I think I carried the original prototype of it quite a bit. I think that one's minty fresh. I don't think that one's ever been carried.
No, because I have mine that I refinished. Was that the original prototype?
I can't.
I don't. I mean, who can keep track of these
that
things?
One's been carried, I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Pretty sure I carried that one a little bit. Give her a little scuff. A little wear. So then the next project, and that, oh, by the way, that came out in March. It was in March. That was March of 2018. And then so the next project that I had been working on for a while, and this was the one that had the most parameters from MassDrop. Like they said, hey, we have a challenge for you. And I went, oh good, I love challenges. Was the RUK, the retracting utility knife. They said, hey, we want it to be about this big, it needs to fit on a keychain, we want it to be as safe as possible, and we want it to use some sort of disposable blade. And I went, all right, that's a lot of parameters. Let me see what I can do. We spent a lot of time doing R&D for that knife. A lot.
A lot.
This one has more of my personal engineering and render time in it than almost all of the other knives combined. It was a lot to figure out the appropriate spring, how I was going to make some of the internal stuff function, what sort of functionalities we wanted out of the piece. Did we like the way things looked on the outside? Did it need more grip? Did it need more this? Well, it was a lot of work.
It was a fun challenge, though.
Definitely.
It's not a normal thing that we do, so it was kind of nice that the MassDrop was like, hey, we got this idea. Can you guys pull it off?
The folding knives, they're in my wheelhouse, right? Been doing that for years. Know how to make folding knives that work well. Things that have all kinds of internal springs and lots of little parts on the inside, not necessarily in my wheelhouse, but gave it my best shot, and I like the way. Don't cut the backdrop, man.
I didn't cut it that much.
Oh man, this is why we can't have nice things.
No, oh, I'm the reason we can't have nice things. Don't sit in my new chair.
Look at my face. It's not just me. You know this. Let's not pretend, sir. Okay, back to the knives. So then the next model that, okay, the RUKs came out in May, and then that was brass and copper, and then there was a subsequent titanium drop that was challenging for me to keep my mouth shut about, because I love titanium. But I did a pretty good job, I think.
Yeah, you did a great job. Proud of you, bro.
Thanks, dude. The next up was the dowel, and if the dowel and the buck seem familiar in handle shape, it's because they are. I really like the handle shape of the buck, but I wanted one that wasn't that stylized cleaver shape, and I actually wanted one of blade shapes that I like a lot, which was I do like a Wharncliffe, but I like a Wharncliffe that's got a little bit of curvature to it. I don't love super straight Wharncliffe type things, so we gave it this worn sheepfoot kind of deal.
The worn foot.
A worn foot. And to this day, this is still one of my favorites. No, this is still my favorite MassDrop model. And for those of you who are wondering, so this is in February of 2019. They are shipping. And that means, for those of you who pay attention to MassDrop stuff, that there will eventually be stuff in the MassDrop made store. They're coming. They'll be back. So if you missed out, you can totally get in.
I'll be back.
I really like that one a lot. The prototype of these guys got a lot of my pocket time.
A lot.
A lot.
I didn't get to carry it for a long time.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Not sorry. And then I've had this one in my pocket quite a bit. I like, daddy like.
Bet you do.
Mm-hmm. And so when did that drop? Yeah, look, I made a timeline so I could reference it. That was in August of 2018.
August.
And now here we are in 2019. And now we got, boom, Mordax. So the Mordax is the first MassDrop X Ferrum Forge, X ProTech, but the first MassDrop Ferrum Forge project that is straight up an old model of ours from 2015. There's an entire video about it. If you've seen it, then I don't need to tell you the whole story. But it's one that Chris and I have been hoping that we would see come to fruition since we basically told ProTech that the Mordax model was theirs in 2015. So it's been quite a while to get it going, and it has happened. It took us bringing MassDrop into the mix to make sure that it did happen. And I believe the drop is closed, and they are under production right now. They are happening. Chris and I are actually going to go up to ProTech sometime this month. Maybe next week. Does that sound good to you?
We'll see.
We go hang out at ProTech and chit chat there and see if we can push some buttons on their machines and break some stuff. I mean, help out.
Yes, that's what you do.
Yeah, I help.
Helping.
Yeah, I'm helpful. Super helpful.
So helpful, brother.
Yeah. Well, they have really fun toys.
They do.
awesome, awesome choice. There is a plain version. We actually, it was taken from us at SHOT Show because MassDrop sent all of the other samples out to reviewers and didn't actually keep any in their office. Oops.
Oops.
So they were like, hey, can we have that plain one back? Sure, buddy, sure. So now I'm the only person that gets one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got it. It's mine.
Aren't you special?
I am special, dude.
I know.
Yeah.
I want one.
So we're really happy about this project. And if you miss out on a drop, guess what? Just like all things that are MassDrop made, they will be in the store eventually. Hopefully sooner rather than later. One of the nice things about ProTech is they do not mess around. And so they will likely be not just on time, I think they might even be a little early, if I know Dave. Because he's all about this project too.
He's very excited. Most excited I've ever seen Dave.
Which is, yeah, he's not an excitable person, and then like he really was very excited. So we just figured we'd take this little trip down memory lane here, look at all the stuff that we've done with MassDrop, and kind of go back over it. Why we did it, what we were thinking when we were doing it. I think because we didn't really talk all that much about it in videos and stuff. We've always been kind of like, hey, look, here's this other thing we're doing. And so the best way to get into Ferrum Forge stuff at a low price point is the MassDrop stuff, because they are able to get at price points that are really challenging to get to. Sometimes I don't even know how they get to some of the price points that they're at. Well, I mean, I do know, but it's not easy. And for all of you that have purchased the MassDrop models, thank you, because I do get a royalty on every piece that gets purchased, and it's nice. It's been helpful. It's one of the things that's kept us going as a company, and one of the things that's shown us that there's hope for the future, and it's expanded our, not only our capabilities, but it's expanded sort of our thought process on where we can go as a company and what we can do with knives. So we're excited for the future and other things. Christopher, do you have anything to add?
No, I'm a little creeped out.
What? Why creeped out?
Your face.
What? What's creepy about my face?
When we watch the video.
Oh, you'll see. Oh, did I get weird?
Yeah.
Sorry. I think one of our takeaways, though, from working with MassDrop, working with WeKnife, working with ProTech, is that there's a lot more capability out there in the world than maybe we had thought about before. And we've kind of developed like a set of criteria for people that we want to work with, and it's basically people who really care, right? Where they have real passion for what it is that they're doing, not just a level of expertise that's almost goes without saying. You need somebody who can do the job right, but people that care that they're doing the job right. And I think that's kind of the difference in some of the manufacturing partners and just overall people that we choose to do business with at this point. Because I've met a lot of people in this knife world, and there are those that really care about their product, and then there are those that don't care so much about their product, and it's just a thing, you know, that they're doing that they want to sell. And so Christopher and I have cared a lot, almost too much sometimes, about, you know, what it is that we make and what it is that we produce and what we're putting our name on. And so having partners that care about those things is always important to us. It's paramount, the most important thing. So it's, I don't think that we've been lucky. Lucky isn't the word. Persistent, stubborn. Stubborn's a nice way to put it. Refusing to roll over and die.
Thick-headed?
Thick-headed.
We'll go stubborn.
Things like that. And it's finally starting to pay some dividends for us. You know, we're as a company, we're moving into sort of a whole new era, and it's an exciting new era, and not just for us, but hopefully for our customers too, because, you know, now it's not going to cost $500 to get a knife from us. Now we're going to have knives that are at price points that span the entire spectrum, and that's something that we want. I'm going to keep working to be able to get knives that are, you know, like at the Gent prices and maybe even a little lower if I possibly can. And that's challenging, but we're going to keep working toward that, because I want everybody to have a Ferrum Forge knife. Like, from the newest of noob knife people, somebody who doesn't even know who we are, doesn't even know that we have YouTube and stuff like that. They just see this knife in a store and go, oh, that's a neat looking knife, and they get it. We want that person. And then I want people all the way up into the, you know, collector level who are willing to spend silly amounts of money on knives. Like, I want to span all of it. I want everyone to have Ferrum Forge knives.
More knives for everyone.
That's right. For those of you who have ever seen the movie Biodome, first of all, if you haven't, I don't know why you haven't. Well, I can know why you haven't, because
it's an awful movie.
It's a terrible movie. Yeah. But you know what? It's worth seeing.
Hey, weed is legal now, so there you go. It'll be better.
It might be better. But if you watch the movie Biodome, then you'll understand Chris's comment. That's a lot to ask people to sit through just to understand the reference.
Are we done rambling?
What? People ask for rambling.
Yeah, but the data says people watch about 2 minutes of it.
True. But it's the good stuff at the end. That's where the real gems come out.
Gems. That's when the interesting statements and information tend to come out in videos.
Right.
We don't lead in with the new and exciting stuff. That kind of happens later down the line. Blah 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 blah. Knife. Blah 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 blah. Shiny.
Yeah. Well, thank you for watching, those of you who made it to the end, and keep a weather eye out. There's always interesting new things coming around the corner. At least I'm trying to make it that way. We'll see. Yeah. Bye.